Ian, fortunately for all of us, we've put these smell-o-vision filters on the cameras.
Of course.
So they can actually smell. Now, what are we, a foot and a half away, and I can smell what's going on this plate.
They're pungent, man.
Well, what do you got here?
So the first course we're gonna do is a ramp dish. We are in the mountains, or we're in the foothills, and ramps are something that's indigenous to this area and throughout Appalachia. You know, ramps are kind of like a wild leek, onion, garlicky thing, super intense. We've got some burrata. Which, if people don't know, is it's basically a fresh mozzarella stuffed with ripped, torn mozzarella curd and heavy cream, and they kind of encapsulate it into a fresh mozzarella balloon.
Got it.
Then we've got some mushrooms, royal trumpet mushrooms that we lightly ferment. And then on top is a little bit of miso honey, so it's basically local honey that we warm up with a little bit of vinegar, some ginger, and a little bit of miso, and we whisk it all together, just drizzle it on top, and then some olive oil from Georgia olive oil.
Come on, take a bite. What do you got here?
So that's the burrata.
What's the perfect bite?
The perfect bite is a bite of everything. I would take a whole piece of ramp, a little bit of the cheese, cut one of those mushrooms up.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So you've got the pungency of the ramps, the honey kind of cuts that. You got the funkiness from the mushroom and from the honey, little sweetness, super creamy.
That's amazingly wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, wow. But again, sounds so cliche, not overpowering.
No, it's very simple too.
What are we looking at here?
All right, so this dish for us is much more about the vegetables and accompaniments than it is about the protein on top. It's a very Southern aesthetic. You know, in the South, despite popular belief, it's not all about, you know, fried chicken or roast pork in center of the plate. It's much more about the vegetables because we have great growing seasons and very distinct growing seasons. So this is kind of a slight homage to the South and to my culinary heritage. The broth is actually a play on an Eastern European soup. It's a sorrel soup, and basically what they do is they take a bunch of water and boil sorrel into it, and it infuses it with that acidic, you know, flavor and a little bit of green. We did that, and we also added some kombu, which is the base for dashi, and we added some spring garlic to it. And then we take all of our vegetables and we simmer them in that broth. And then on top is a piece of halibut, Alaska wild halibut. So yeah, we've got some sunchokes, we've got radishes.
What'd you say?
Sunchokes.
What are those?
Jerusalem artichokes. They're in the sunflower family. It's a tuber. They're super sweet. You get them. They're best after frost and right in the beginning of spring.
Oh, those are really good. I love the radishes.
Yeah, we're a big radish fan.
I love radishes.
So get into this fish a little bit.
I love the fact that the Fraggles from Fraggle Rock.
I remember that.
That's what they ate.
Well.
I love
radishes.
Yeah,
yeah, they did.
That was their thing.
Halibut's one of those fish that eats very dry. So if we sear it, we serve it with the broth. And if we don't sear it, we poach it.
Poach it because the crust
super lean.
on this thing is phenomenal. And then of course these, I don't know how you managed to make these. I don't know how you did it. There's like magic going on back there.
We blanch them first really quickly in heavily salted water, and then we shock them. We start with the bulbs. Basically, we hang the bulbs in the water for a couple seconds, and then drop it in so the greens don't turn to mush.
So they don't. Oh, got it.
Right, and then we warm it back up with the broth.
What's next?
Have you ever had lamb necks before?
No.
Well, this is my favorite cut.
What?
Literally the neck of the lamb.
Oh, come on.
So it's usually twice that size, and we actually took a saw and sawed them down to have one portion.
What's the preparation?
So it's a braised lamb neck.
Okay.
On top is something called torshi shir. It's a Middle Eastern ferment made with bayberries. Traditionally, it's garlic and other green plants that they ferment out. We did ramps, obviously, because we're in ramp season, and young spring garlic, which is also in season currently.
This is what I'm talking about with this town. Every turn, almost every place we go, the detail.
On top, you have some pistachios. Underneath is Carolina Gold rice from Anson Mills. And I think that's it. And then, of course, we take the braising liquid and reduce it down into our sauce. A lot of the flavor in lamb honestly comes from the fat, like with most meats.
Right.
This is a fatty cut, but it's braised for such a long time that all the flavors have time to kind of mellow and then develop. Cooking any kind of meat varies from cut to cut. You know, you're dealing with different water content, different fat content. Muscular structure is always slightly different. So.
What are we working with here?
So they're sorghum-based sauces. Sorghum is a old school sweetener throughout the South. It's kind of, people call it sorghum molasses. So we do a hot sauce, and we use red serranos, sorghum, vinegar, and that's basically it. And then we do our barbecue sauce, which is a South Carolina style mustard barbecue sauce. So
this is a great dish.
Thank you so much.
This is phenomenal. Thank you for being here, and thanks for letting us come hang out with you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.